Hello everybody, my name is Al from Sauber-lab, and today will be a video that I will explain a little bit more about home network. If you know a lot of home network, this video is not for you, but if you're not sure and if you want to learn a little bit more about it, you're gonna think that is interesting in this video. The reason that I wanted to record this video is because one of my previous videos I explained the difference between 1 GB, 2.5 and 10 GB network connections, but I didn't explain the basics. What will be a router, what will be a switch, and what will be the firewall, and how we can integrate it. Also, what you need to consider to get the best performance for your device. So, if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show in this video, but first of all, don't forget to leave your like, consider to subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and let's understand a little bit more about it. As I told, this video will be really basic, but if you don't know anything about network and your home network, maybe it will be a little bit interesting for you to see it. So if you guys come here my screen, we're gonna explain how does the home network works. And that's we're gonna talk a little bit about router, switch and firewall. So first thing, we're gonna try to understand what's router, the more important part for your network. Okay, router basically will direct traffic and manage the traffic for all your system. They will create tables of IP address with a MAC address, and that they will create the VLANs or your subdomains or subnetworks. Basically, what means subnetwork? Subnetwork will be those IP address, and that they will allocate each IP address for each machine, and that they will record or keep that information in order that if this machine wants to access the internet, they will directly the traffic for be able to access the internet. Also, most of the routers have a basic firewalls what guarantee that the traffic is safe. We're going to explain a little bit more about firewall, so not focus so much about it, but remember, router is the brain of your network, and that they will basically manage, guarantee that all the data is received and send for the correctly destination. They will analyze the data, they will directly the communication, and that make sure that everything is work smoothly. Also, they will keep the directly connection for your modem to your device and keep it in the same place. Most of the routers already have the Wi-Fi option. It means that allowed for different device to access the router or the network using Wi-Fi, and this is a big plus. But they have normal limitation how many RJ45 ports or how many network ports that they will have as a standard. This reason that come our second device. Our second device called switch, and this switch basically they will directly the flow for the data. They don't manage anything, they will not create a list of IP address, they only look for the MAC address and say this ID or this information needs to go for that information, this information needs to go for that system or that device. So basically they only extend the amount of internet connection that you have. This is quite interesting because a router normally have only 4 ports, some of those have a little bit more, but as a standard come with 4 ports, and that's if you have 10 devices, how you gonna connect it. This reason that is really interesting for you have a switch, what will split the connection or allow you to connect more cable, more internet cables to your network. Basically, they will be for only this reason. And also you have 2 types of switches. You have the base ones that's no manageable switch, and you have the managed switch. The no managed switch, it will be the standard ones, the cheapest one, and that's they will only directly the traffic. Doesn't matter if it's allowed to direct or not, they only directly traffic and will directly exactly the same traffic speeds for all the device. Of course, we'll have some threshold that will be able to transmit at the same time, but basically they will only collect the data and send for another device. Collect the data and send and track, look like a tunnel that will let the flow to be connected. The managed switch will be a little bit different. You can create more configurations Of course, it's a little bit more expensive, but you can create subdomains, you can guarantee that one device will not communicate for other device, you can restrict traffic, you can do a lot more with those switch, but the price is a little bit higher. You can have a lot of different size of switch. You can have a 4-port switch, you can have a 6-port switch, you can have 8, 24, and continue on. I don't remember exactly what's the biggest one, but you can have a lot of device connected to only one switch, what allowed you they communicate for each other. If you get a really big switch, normally the price is a little bit higher, and that normally they will ask for be managed. So have this one in mind. And the next system or next option for your network will be the firewall. So if I come here in the firewall, basically the firewall will be manage the traffic on the external. It means that they will allow the traffic to come in if you open some ports, or go out if you want to access website. If someone try to access your network without the correct authorization, basically they will block and not allow that this traffic happen. Also, they denied some kind of DNS attacks, what will be someone started to send a lot of packs, and that the firewall will try to block. And some of the firewalls have the ability to guarantee or prevent malwares. In my case, I have a firewall that can restrict location, geolocation. If someone in Russia tries to access my network, I will block it and they will not be able to access my network, what create a little bit extra layer of protection for a network. And most of the holders have at least the basic option only to block all the ports or allow that ports have access. You can have as well an option to define different DNSs and other things. And here the next thing that we're going to review will be how you can improve, or what tip that you can improve your network. Basically, you can have a mix. You can have your router connect for a device, manage all this information, manage everything that you want. Also, you can have a switch to extend or increase the amount of network ports that you can have. In my case, I have 12 or 16 devices connected via cable to my network. If I have a router, I will only be able to connect 4, and the rest I will need to use Wi-Fi. What sometimes is not interesting if you want a more stable connection or if you wanted to have a fast speeds. This reason that you can have a hybrid system. Router will have the firewall, router will manage the IP address, will manage the MAC address, will manage the information that will connect outside, inside for your network, and that the switch will manage it or split the different ports for different devices. Not necessarily that a switch will have a Wi-Fi connection. I don't believe that a switch have Wi-Fi connection, but they will split basically all the connections or split all the ports, and they will allow you to have more ports added to your network and allow you to have a more stable connection for different devices. And now we're going to understand what tips or what we can do to improve our network. Okay, to improve our network, first thing, try to invest the best cable that you need for your speeds. Let's say if I have only 1 GB network, yes, a Cat5e, a Cat6, depend what distance of this device or the size of the cable, could be enough for 1 GB. But if you want to go for 2.5 or 10 GB, you need to invest a little bit more. You cannot go for Cat5e and you expect to have 10 GB connection, because this will not happen because of loss, because of the structure that is work, because everything that is created the cable. So try to invest in a good quality cables and the best ones that you need for the speeds that you're planning to have. Also, keep all your device updates, principally your router, try to keep it, because what will guarantee that if someone discover an issue or a wrong port or something that is wrong with your network, they will try to update, and that releases update for all different devices for you be able to update and keep it safe. If you don't do it, potentially someone can use that same weakness point for access your network, and that's gain control and do whatever they want. Other thing that you need to have in mind is try to set a strong password. You should not put only password 123 or test 123 for all your device, because in this way become weak, become unsafe, and become easy to be break. So try to put aleatory numbers, letters and everything to make sure that no one will be able to only type a few words and find the password for your router or password for your device in your network. So you're gonna ask what I need to do or how I can manage it. Yes, you have a different password managers that will manage this password and will guarantee that you don't need to remember, you can only select and use it in a simple way. Also, try to consider an external firewall or an extra firewall. When I say try to consider an extra firewall, in your router that's supplied for the ISP, they normally have the basic firewall that's only limited the ports and basically it. They'll not do any analysis, they will not properly protect you. They only avoid that those ports will be able to access or not, and if you open the ports, they will directly the traffic from a port to a specific IP address. Apart from it, they don't do anything else. This reason, it's interesting for investing in a proper router that have a better firewall or a device that is a firewall device. In my case, I invest in a unified machine that creates a lot of extra layers for me. As I told, you can have geolocation firewalls, you can have invasion firewalls, detection firewalls and other things that will make sure that all my data is safe, and if someone tries to access it without the correct permissions or without to be in the correct location, they basically will lock and not allow this to happen. So in this way we arrive at the end of the video. As I told, it will be really basic, but who's never listen about it will become really interesting. So if you like this video and think that was interesting, please don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and see you next time. Bye.